A lot of people don't say, well, maybe there's something I can use to help my business. It's kind of like a it's kind of like a like we protect we protect ourselves and we insulate ourselves from any type of criticism or any type of thing that may question what we're currently doing. And for me, I just never been that way, and that's why I was always open to what other people were doing, especially if especially when they reached out to help me. So I was very open to that. So I want to thank you.
My philosophy, man, is if you do what you've always done, you just get what you've always gotten.
True.
And so, I have to manage my time. But with that said, you also, I took a business development class, and we learned about working in your business versus working on your business.
Yes.
And I want to transition I used to have an assistant, before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Things were going really well. I had an office, I had an assistant. And of course, after the pandemic, had to shut down the office and move home, and I became a one-man show. And I'm trying to get it back to where I'm not the guy answering the phone and doing the admin and meeting and greeting clients, right? I want to free myself up to be the face of the business, the one, going in and doing the networking and setting up the contacts. And
Mm-hmm.
then, of course, they call the office, they get screened before they get to me so that I'm maximizing my time. And that's not where I am right now. I'm everybody. I'm the bathroom cleaner, the envelope licker, and I also do the portfolio management. So,
man, he didn't show up. Didn't even call me to tell me he wasn't going to show up. Then I saw him. I said, "Hey, man, Carlos, how come you didn't show up?" He goes, "Man, I've never talked in public about my business." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was. I had another situation with a DC attorney just passed the bar, and she was already, licensed for like 5 years. She said, "I passed the bar, but I never want to do I never want to stand in front of a judge and argue a case."
Wow.
I was like, "What?" So what her thing is, she just likes to be the paralegal, like the high paid paralegal behind the scenes to write up the cases for the attorneys, so that so that the lawyers who want to go to court and argue the case or be in front of the judge, that they can do it. So that's why I started understanding, like, there's many different twists and turns of how people think about their business. So yeah, that was very enlightening, to say the least. But let's start with the first question, which is um, the sales pipeline. I know you're familiar with it.
Yeah, let me get back to that email. I was on there, and then my ex texted me, and so I moved off of it. We're co-parenting a 17-year-old, so forgive me.
Oh, that's okay.
So, okay, how many contacts on average do you enter your contact database?
Yeah, I made a little typo there. Yeah.
I don't have a contact database per se. I was using Redtail. I got rid of that, and then I was using. So I for a long time I had the Dave Ramsey referral system, right? Mm-hmm. And so I guess I was spoiled because I would get 28 referrals pushed to me a month, and I had at that time I had Redtail, and I would track who were called when, and we had like a we did this lesson where we learned, hey, this is how many touches you should do within a 1 month period, and then after that first month goes by, then you back off and you go from calling them once a week to calling them once every 2 weeks, and so on and so forth. So that's the bulk of work my assistant would do. It was just chasing down Dave Ramsey leads. Our analysis showed that we were closing between 1% and 3% of those leads, and we were paying too much money for the leads.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got rid of the system, I started doing some local seminars, and so
Mm-hmm.
those are easier to track down, right? Because at my local seminars, I'll get anywhere from 5 to 20 people show up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't really have a database anymore. I just, follow up with those people who came to my seminars.
Okay. Okay. So the first question is actually, I mean, it's what you said, but it's like, so the typical sales pipelines start with like this huge number, and your huge number may be smaller than another industry's huge number. And it's really industry based. Like personal injury attorneys, their top number in the sales pipeline should be 500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting when I mention personal injury attorneys because, and I'll give you a glimpse of what I'm talking about. Personal injury attorneys. I have this saying that I told these dentists 10 years ago. People don't need a dentist I'm sorry. People don't need a personal injury attorney until they need a personal injury attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like people wake up. I need to get in touch with a personal injury attorney. But yeah, when you have that accident, that's when that need, rises to the top. But who do you know? Where do you go to find that personal injury attorney? So I was telling the attorneys what they need to do is pass out their business cards to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, like at the bakery, at the bank, at the gym. And when I mean pass out the card with the intention of getting their contact information and letting them know that you want to add them to a database, like a drip, like hey, I want to send you my monthly, attorney letter about or email newsletter about what's going on in the industry. And the intention, the idea is the person you meet may not need the attorney, but 2 levels, 3 levels down, when someone says, "Hey, Mike, I need to find an attorney. Do you know someone?" "Oh, I know Dave, who I met at the bakery or at the bank or at the gym, and he sends me newsletters all the time." So let me refer. So that's what I tell the attorneys, that they need high numbers because, and you probably know this already, is that not every personal injury case is a client.
Yeah.
Because if the defendant has no money, has no assets, you're not going to get anything from that person for the most part.
Yeah.
So,
and it's like with us, that was what was plaguing me with the Dave Ramsey thing. And so, a lot of people listened to his radio show, and, he had a referral system. And so of the 28 individuals I would get, referrals that I would get a month, maybe half of them would answer when I called. And of that, 14 that answered, maybe one of them had, any kind of money to invest that would be worth my while.
Yep.
So it was a lot of work for very little reward.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other 14, you would have to call them 6, 7, 8, 9 times before they finally said, "Hey, I'm not interested anymore."
Yep. That's a very that's very common when there is no personal interaction at the very beginning. And that's why I listed those 5 front-end sales activities: contacting, prospecting, setting appointment, closing, and getting zero-cost referrals. And those are the 5 front-end sales activities that I learned from corporate America and also extended to independent sales. And the reason why it's so important to establish that contact yourself is that that's when you bond with that person you meet. Whether you do business with them or not today, that's not that important. What it's important is that you've left an impression on their mind that you are that industry professional. So the next time they may need that service, or two or three levels down, they say, well, who do you know that's that I can talk to about rolling over money or starting some type of investment plan, or inherited some money? Hey, I know Joey. I met Joey at the Starbucks, or I met him in the parking lot. I mean, I saw his sign on his car, you know, and that's who you should call, because I liked him. He was very impressed. He didn't try to sell me anything. He just gave me his card. We chatted for 5 or 10 minutes, and I get his newsletter like every month. So yeah, you mentioned the Dave Ramsey thing. I've heard a lot about that. I'm not The Dave Ramsey thing is, I mean, he's successful in his own right, so there's no need to throw shade on him. But you mentioned it. It's ROI. It's what is the end result of working with the program? Are you talking to a lot of people who are able to make decisions and generate transactions, or is it just like these courtesy calls? Hey, I'm a nice guy. You're a nice person. Hey, great. Thanks for talking. How many face-to-face prospect? I'm on the second bullet point. How many face-to-face interactions do you have, just like we had at the Starbucks?
Hmm.
How many of those do you have per month?
Well, to be honest with you, I work from home. The
Okay.
only reason why I was okay, I Starbucks is where I go when I'm sitting in the house and I'm feeling the house is closing in on me. But I live in Houston. I was there. I was moving. I'm moving from one firm to the next,
Mm-hmm.
and so a lot of my clients are from Atlanta, where I used to live before I moved out here to Houston. And as a matter of fact, my what I call my Class A clients, all are from the Atlanta area.
Mm-hmm.
So it was important for me to go back there and do a face to face with them and say, hey, listen, nothing is changing. I'm just moving from one firm to the next, your investments. And so I was able to keep 95% of my clients by doing it that way. So when I wasn't meeting with clients, I was sitting there in the Starbucks, doing admin stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we end up meeting. Here in Houston, I'll probably go to the Starbucks maybe once or twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I'm there, I don't, very seldomly do I have like interactions like, me saying hello to you. I say hello, but most people don't respond. And then I'm sitting there working, and, sometimes I'm engrossed in what I'm doing. So, maybe I don't look up and say hello.
That's a very important part right there, because what I found out is there's a book called How to Work a Room. It's by this lady out of New York City. Oh, Susan Roane, Roane, Susan Roane.
Roane, okay.
And this book was out probably like 25 years ago. Most of the information that I've used comes from, it comes from like in the late 80s, early 90s. And that was before digital marketing.
Yeah.
Before I mean, it was before digital marketing. And I just think that salespeople should go back to the basics when it comes to this kind of stuff. But Susan Rome wrote this book called How to Work a Room, and she wrote some things in there about when you walk into a building, when you walk into any type of thing where other people are there, either standing around waiting for service or sitting down, just chilling. What do you think the first thing that people think about when you walk in?
What does he do for a living?
That's possible. But that's probably like maybe three or four or two or three. But the very first thing that people think about when you walk in is this person a threat to me?
I guess I spent 21 years in the Marine Corps, so I don't really, if I see, sometimes my spidey sensor will go off and that'll alert me, but for the most part, I'm comfortable.
Well, see, you and I are the same way. We're not really afraid of anybody, so I mean, it's not
Yeah.
somebody's going to come and take you out. In
Yeah.
most cases, not unless they're like one of these crazy guys. But that's what most people think about. So when you walk in, I don't care if you're dressed up. Dressed up tends to have a better. You get a better make a better impact on someone checking you out. Uh, but when people walk into any place, and you can check this out yourself, the next time you're someplace, you will automatically look up and measure, evaluate if that person's a threat or they're okay. But
Yeah.
what people are also doing, they're you're right. The second thing you said, or the first thing you said, is they're trying to figure out what do you do. Everybody's thinking that. What does this person do? What does Joey do? What does Clarence do? And a lot of times people are saying, I really like to know who he is.
Hmm.
So what I do, have you heard of the 3 foot rule?
No.
Okay, the 3 foot rule is regardless of where you are, because we know people are thinking about, just like those, remember those two ladies that said they were listening to our conversation?
Yeah.
I said, okay, that's happened many times before with me. So the 3 foot rule says anytime you're sitting with someone, without reluctance, introduce yourself, say hello. Say hello. I don't
Yeah.
care where you are. If you're standing in line, always turn around and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Hey, if
Yes.
that's all you do, that counts. That counts as making a contact. If you're trying to make 200, 300 contacts a month, that sort of counts as a contact. And I tell people, if you're kind of shy about that, especially realtors, I tell realtors, you look good, you got your sign on your car, you got your name tag on, your laptop has Keller Williams on the back of it. You're sitting next to someone working on a real estate transaction. Why wouldn't you say hello to someone sitting next to you?
Within the last, where are we in November? Within the last 6 or 7 months, I've gotten like 4 referrals that amount to like $2.5 million of additional assets under management that I wouldn't have gotten had they not been referred to me. And
Congratulations.
the interesting thing about that is, okay, so I did a really good job for this older couple, and they referred me to their daughter and got her, set up. And then she referred me to 3 of her coworkers. So that one line was responsible for 4 referrals that was like 2.3 mil.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have these FAA clients that I met with. It came up. I was like, listen, I know you guys. The last thing you want to think about is investing right now, but I don't want to. I just want to take you guys to breakfast and love on you a little bit. You guys are having to work without pay. What? Let me take you guys to breakfast. Took them to breakfast. They talk. And so his mom passed away about a year ago, and he has some inheritance that he was just sitting on. And, he says, when all this is over, let's talk about investing this money that my mom left for me. I'm like, okay, when it's over, when you guys feel, get back to where you were, we can do that. But for now, I just wanted to take you to your favorite breakfast place and sit here and talk to you guys.
Nice.
So not only did I get funds from them, I get a call while I was in Savannah. When I left Columbus, I went to Savannah to visit the kids. I'm at dinner with the kids. I get this phone call from this random number. I answered it. Well, no, I lied. I didn't answer it, but she left a message. This is blah, 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 blah. My kid's chair with the wife of the air traffic controller. And she said, I just have to call you because I told her I was looking for an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
Called her the following day. We had the best conversation, and I'm doing her paperwork on Monday. So that's been my saving grace as referrals from existing clients.
What if I told you that you may not have to ever do that again?
Okay.
I developed something called the prospect interview form.
Mm-hmm.
And the prospect interview form, and I'll give you a 30-second glimpse at it because it's one of my, I call it my proprietary product. So but here's the outline. You ask them some questions about their financial strategy or lack thereof, and then you ask them why now are they looking to put together a financial strategy, or why are they looking to do something with money now, and you let them tell you what they want to do. Fast forward, you get to the point, you repeat what they told you, and you basically say, I can help you. And I'll add this part. Basically, it says, if you've told me a lot about what you're dealing with, your personal situation, and these questions you may ask before we get to this point, maybe 10 questions. And let me break in and tell you how I use this. There was a home builder in Northern California. My buddy, we were realtors. He was the broker, and I was one of his agents. But he was a very good friend, and I had helped his team learn how to be professional salespeople instead of just mailing cards. Mailing cards is good still. So there's nothing wrong with that. So he knew this guy. He met this guy that was a home builder out in like Yuba City, California, and so he said Virgil of Heartland Homes. Heartland, he sold the business. It's no longer in existence, but the homes are there. He says, I want you to meet this guy named Clarence. Maybe he can help you with this other broker. The guy had 200 lots. And in 1 year, only 2 homes were sold on these lots.
Wow.
And the homes were like 400, 500,000 back in 2012, 2013. So I'm sitting with Virgil and my friend, what's his name? Let's call him Ben. He owns a high definition camera business in Turlock, California now. And next to Virgil was his money man. His money man, the investor, he was a guy that had a shipping business, and he had ships coming back from all over the world, bringing things to California. So he had a shipping business. So this guy was Virgil's money man. So Virgil said, "Okay, I'm here to listen to what you guys have to say." So I had these 20 questions that I developed when I was talking to this other guy that was a software engineer I worked for at Genworth Financial. So I asked these questions. I got down to question 10, and these questions were powerful. They were not like questions like how much do you make, or it was very, very, very good questions. But I got to question 10. I finished question 10, and Virgil said, Clarence, Ben, look. He goes, I don't want to answer any of those questions, any more questions. I looked at my buddy, my broker buddy, and we said, oh, man, he's getting ready to kick us out. And he goes, I just want to let you guys know, you have asked me more questions about my business than the stinking broker from Century 21 that I hired last year. You know more about my business in 30 minutes than the broker that I hired, Century 21.
Wow.
Okay, so the point is that when you ask all these questions, there's 2 ears, 1 mouth, and psychologists say that when a person is talking about their personal situation and that situation may be not good, their brain hears it in the ears, and the brain says, oh, I'm telling Joey about my problems or the solution I'm seeking in my financial planning. And most people won't share that type of information just out of the blue unless you ask them the right questions. And when you ask them the right questions, their brain says, oh, you done told Joey about things that you've never told anyone about your financial plan. That means we need to fix it. So the brain goes, we want to work with Joey. So there's another step. It's like the soft close. You would like the soft close approach, the takeaway, I like to call it. But That's the key, is to ask them enough questions, get them to bare their souls in a certain kind of way. They'll tell you things that they've never told. And I've had business owners tell me things about their business that they've never even told their spouses or their
Yeah.
CPA.
Yeah.
So that's that part. Actually, in terms of asking all the questions, I think we're done, because the other questions just kind of, let's see, there's maybe one more question I need to ask. It's, let's see, 2 is good. We talked about 3. Well, we didn't talk about 3, but see, I don't know a lot about your industry other than I know what you do. But like, let's say answer number 3. What are the top reasons people should seek financial advice from you? What do you think that sets you apart? I know it's like a really cliche statement, but what are some of the things that set you apart than maybe other advisors?
So,
Let's see.
but so what started to happen to me out here in Houston is that the Dave Ramsey, my competition out here, are all CFPs and mostly white.
Mm-hmm.
And so the SEC made Dave Ramsey change the way he made referrals. Back in the day, those people didn't see us. They didn't know who we were. But now, when Dave Ramsey referred, he can't refer his radio listeners to me without sight unseen. What we now have to do is we have to create a profile on Dave Ramsey's, SmartVesta Pro site. Mm-hmm. And when he sends them a referral, he sends them 5 links and say, hey, it's your job to look at these 5 people and choose. So what I did was I wanted to see how the process worked after the SEC. It was a big thing. The SEC wanted to fine him because he doesn't have a license, and he's on the radio telling, the nation which advisors to go see. Mm-hmm. And so now, the way they compromise is like, I'm not telling them to go see a particular advisor. I'm giving them 5 links, and they're choosing. Mm-hmm. So I pretended like I was a Dave Ramsey client, and I got the referrals. And when I looked at them, I was like, crap. This is my competition. This is what people see when they call in from my area. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's a necessity right there. The admin work. Yeah, I got 6 Medicare things to enter in before the night, so each one takes about 30 to 40 minutes. And I'm with you with that one. So, but I would like to. I'll send you a proposal about how I can help you, because I know I can, especially on the first 2, and definitely at the closing stage. The closing stage is where you can increase your like, if you, in other words, what I know from just personal experience, professional experience, if someone meets with you, especially if you have managed the other front end sales activities. When you meet them at the appointment, you can either go up to like almost to 80% that they're going to do business with you, down to 7. I think we talked about that. Did we talk about that? The 80 to 7 to 80?
Yes.
Okay.
Talk about that.
So we talked about that. So.